Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, can you reset my password? Again? The credentials are not working. Tales from Y2K Support. A user let the magic smoke out of the surge protector. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Can you reset my password? Again? While I don't work in IT, it never seems to fail that I become the tech guy and get asked to do all the tech stuff on top of my regular job. I work in public safety, so we weren't exactly hired for our computer skills, and our agency is not really big enough to justify a dedicated IT position. I was given the task, among several other things, of creating and deleting user accounts and resetting passwords for our record software. My biggest headache, of course, was resetting locked accounts. Some people forget to type their username when logging in and end up locking the last user's account quite often, while others seem to just always forget their password. But one user always seemed to have trouble. Also, most people do not have one computer they always use. There are many computers and users won't likely use the same computer one day to the next. This will come up later. I get an email from a user one morning that their password isn't working. I log in and see that they have 9 failed password attempts, which meant not only did they type the wrong password 3 times and disable their account, they tried 6 more times after being told contact your system administrator. Not unusual, and it might not even be their fault as mentioned above. I unlock the account, give them a generic temporary password, and go on about my day. A few hours later, I get a call from the same user. User, that password isn't working. I typed some _generic password, and it isn't working. Me, that's the correct password. I'll reset it right now, and you can try to log in. User, nope, still not working. I see the failed login attempt under his profile, so at least I know they got their username right. Since I have them on the phone, I give them a super simple password and have them log in. User, lots of typing and clicking, it's still not work. Oh wait, there we go. It says my password expired. I thought you just reset it for me. Me, yes, but it is only temporary. You have to create your own password now, and it has to have a list of requirements. Make sure it is something you will remember. User, okay, thanks. I don't think much of it and go about my day. A few days later, I get an email from user asking to reset their password. They're super apologetic about it, but honestly, it's just a forgotten password. I've had worse calls, like someone deleting an entire person by accident. Oddly, the account is not locked out and there are no failed login attempts, so I give them a call. Me, hey, I got your email, it's okay. Your account shows it isn't locked, and I don't see any failed login attempts. Are you using your username? What is it telling you when you try to log in? User, lots of typing and clicking, it says could not establish a connection to the server. I typed my username and password, and that's all that happens. That's not unheard of. Me, that's not unheard of. Close the login prompt and try again. Make sure you let me know what you are doing and what messages show up. User, walking me through each step they're taking, and I'm in, you fixed it. Me, okay, sounds good to me, have a good day. This happens a few more times over the next several weeks, and they are never able to really explain what happens before I get involved. Inevitably, by time they get me on the phone, it seems to be working again. There are several times where I again notice they don't have any failed login attempts, and their account is not locked. I do reset their password a few times, but never end up having too much trouble getting them in with a little patience. Fast forward a few months and my coworker and I are asked to assist with a server migration. One task is to go to each computer in the building and enter the new server configuration, update the software, and rename the old server settings. This is accessed from a settings button on the login screen. A new dialog box allows you to select an existing server configuration or create a new one. I set up the first few computers without an issue, but then I come to a computer that I know user uses quite often. I open the server configuration settings, and there are 10 servers listed. The legacy server, the test server, and 8 servers with variations of user's username or full name. I open the settings for the first one, and I find something like server address, user's username, port, super_simple_ password. I find variations of this for every additional server entry in the list. This explains everything. The loads of clicking and typing and the could not establish a connection to server was user going into settings and creating and saving a new server each time. I chuckled and called user over. We chalked it up to they were never shown how to properly log in, and they had a laugh too. User was happy, they didn't have to keep asking for new passwords, and we didn't have to keep resetting them. By the end of the update, I found around 5 more times where this was done on other computers. The credentials are not working. First-time poster, I hope I don't screw it up. So that one client's VPN access to work from home isn't working anymore. He calls me and asks for help. Turns out his credentials are wrong. As I don't know his actual credentials, I reset them. VPN is separate, test them directly against the VPN server, and tell him the new password, standard length, a number, you know the drill. He is happy and I erase that case from my to-do list. 1 week later he calls again to ask for the password again. No bad feelings, a weekend formats anyone's brain sometimes. I tell him the password again and he then says, yes, I have been trying that. We go through the password letter by letter, and after I am certain he has the right one, I connect remotely to his machine. As he is in the office right now, I can't test the VPN client, but I can use the VPN user portal which uses the same credentials. As I am putting his username and he gets confused. I am supposed to put my name there? Turns out he tried the password in the user field, and his AD password is password. Just when I thought I had seen everything, something like this happens. Tales from Y2K support. I have been doing this too long. I had started in support at $access_control_vendor a year before. I had become a senior support person after several of my cohort had departed. As Y2K approached, our manager set up this plan for New Year's. The entire team would be at the office, with the seniors arriving at 3 p.m. to handle flow from global customers, and the juniors arriving at 8 p.m. So 12 of us got our stuff squared away. Some of the guys had brought sleeping bags. We were getting no calls. We had done a 3-year effort to weed out the bug, but we were sure not everyone had done their software and firmware upgrade. The phone rang. A staffer at a friendly European defense ministry was doing a check-in to find out if any of their critical defense or infrastructure sites had had issues, and to request notification if they did. No calls, we said. Management brought in a ton of food at 8 p.m., and the phone rang every 10 minutes or so with another integrator or command center asking if any problems had been reported. After dinner, one of the guys announced he had brought Unreal Tournament, and our most senior tech opened some ports. Soon we were all in our cubes eagerly trying to kill each other, while we waited for the sky to fall at midnight. As soon as New Year's came on the East Coast, we had shut the game down, and had our plan together for call-taking rotation ECT. We were all sure that the phone would be off the hook by 12:30 or so. The check-in calls kept coming in. Then we got an actual call. The user hadn't upgraded. The old version had a known bug. They would schedule an immediate upgrade. And that was it. As we approached New Year's at each time zone, people would call in asking for status, and then the calls would stop. We played video games for another 8 hours or so, getting paid holiday pay, plus double time and a half for every hour over 8. They sent the juniors home first. Then the seniors who wanted to go. By 6 a.m. there were 6 of us left. A follow-up crew came in at noon. They reported 4 calls over the next day, all customers who had missed their updates. Our last Y2K call came in 6 months later, from a customer who noticed their reports were off. Not only did they need help with the update, but they needed to find their server, which a helpful soul had drywalled over the closet it was in. They hadn't done an update in 6 years. Nothing did uptime like a VAX. A user let the magic smoke out of the surge protector. Here's a pretty tame one from this morning. A ticket tells me that a user's surge protector has stopped working. They've hit the reset, but their monitor/PC won't turn on. I walk over to the office to investigate and find the surge protector with burn marks around one of the outlets. There's monitors, a PC and printer plugged into the other plugs, none of them working. I asked the worker what they had plugged into the last outlet. A space heater. Replaced the surge protector and had a nice discussion about how high voltage appliances need to go directly into the wall, not a surge protector. Luckily, none of the other devices were fried. Happy Friday!